Today I'm going to be explaining level 914 of the Backrooms, and I gotta say, this one is truly a nightmare, especially for people who are afraid of flying on airplanes or afraid of heights. The atmosphere in this level is great, the effects are horrific, there's strange creatures that live in the sky. Overall, it's just one of those classic Backrooms levels that you all know and love. Without any more talking from me, let's go ahead and dive right into the explanation. Let's talk about this level, shall we? Level 914 has been given a class variable rating because of its unsafe nature, its instability overall, and the presence of lethal creatures. I guess the only reason it's been given a variable difficulty and not like a class 5 or dead zone is because there are different spots that you can get to. The level takes place for the most part though inside of an empty, abandoned, and lifeless airplane. It was originally discovered when some guy fell asleep on level 36 and then woke up on this plane in a seat here, which is interesting for sure, and I'm not really sure if there's any other levels that work like that, actually. There are 3 specific parts to this level, and there's kind of a 4th, but those main 3 are the main part of the aircraft, the business lounge, and the apron bus. And that technical 4th zone is the sky area, but trust me, you don't want to go out there. I'll tell you all about that in the entity section. The largest part of the entire area is inside of the plane. It is the main cabin area, and it takes the appearance of a narrow corridor of seats, just like you would find in reality. There are 3 seats on each side of the aisle, making it a total of 6 seats wide, and there are about 300 in total number of these seats inside the aircraft. Each individual one contains pull-out tables and stow trays where you can put stuff, but other than this, there is literally nothing at all inside this section. There's no food, no supplies, no pamphlets, no magazines, nothing. The seats here are also notably uncomfortable, and the cushions don't do anything to make them softer, and you really don't want to sit here because it's uncomfortable to do so for long periods of time. It's like the level does not want you to sit in its seats. Above those seats are the usual luggage bins, which are empty in this case, just like everything else here. And the only item at all that you can even manage to locate inside of this main cabin is a key. And this specific key will unlock the door at the front of the main cabin, which leads to the business lounge area. But besides that, this big section, the main part of the level, is this empty, forgettable expanse of airplane seats. The ambience here inside of the plane is typical of an airplane in the air, right? There's a soft whooshing sound from the massive speed that you're going outside. It's rushing against the body of the plane. There's also randomized and nonsensical announcements that come over the speaker here. They seem to be coming from some kind of stewardess or pilot maybe, but whatever they're trying to say is garbled and you can't really understand it. Beyond this, the windows that are on the plane are all shut, especially in this main cabin section, and they're shut automatically whenever you come here. If you desire to open them up and look outside at the sky, you might see something that you don't want to, or more importantly, something might see you that you don't want to see you, which again, I will explain in the entity section. Hold your horses. The next area, of course, is the business lounge, which you have to find that key to come here, and it's pretty much just an improved version of that first cabin. The seats here are way more plush, they're way more comfortable and conducive for sitting. You can actually relax here. They're wider, they're softer, there's more leg room, but there are only 7 rows of seats here, making it a much more confined space to explore. Another thing about this part is that there are several cabinets and cupboards that have supplies, like rations and water and even first aid kits. And this is the only spot in the entirety of the plane that has anything that you can find. The rest of it is just completely barren. Moving on past the business lounge is the next area, which is called the apron bus. Now, if you didn't know, an apron bus is essentially the name for a bus that is specifically designed for airports and transit stations and things like that. It's just a bus that takes people from point A to point B, and for some reason, there is this area, this bus zone inside of this airplane, even though it's starkly different from the rest of the plane. It takes the appearance of a long, lush hallway with colorful blue flowers sprouting from the floor. There are metal handrails and seats on each side, as well as things to hold up so you don't fall over while it's moving, and this bus too is floating in the air just like the plane is. Even though it's obviously not a plane, it looks more like a bus or a subway system, it still is connected. Now, even though it looks safe and relaxing to see all these flowers and stuff, it's not actually safe at all because the temperatures here are very cold. Every single surface is frigid to the point where if you just touch the metal here, you could get hypothermia. But the only thing to do in the apron bus is to walk straight down the hallway. There's literally nothing else, and the entire place is estimated to be about 6 miles in length or 10 kilometers. It is unknown how this specific part is connected to the plane or how you can get to point A from the business lounge to this bus, point B. It doesn't make any sense, but nothing ever does in the back rooms, so just go with it. The last sort of area in the level is the sky, like I mentioned earlier, and this is the outside area beyond the plane and the hallways of the bus here that you can see from the windows. Now, at first glance, it looks just like a sky from reality. There's a blue tint, there's puffy white layered clouds, but after a long look at what you see, you'll notice a few inconsistencies. First of all, it's theorized that the clouds here can be explored and walked on. They seem to be physical things that you can interact with, but that's not confirmed because no one's going to try to jump out of a moving airplane to test the theory. If you want to try, though, be my guest. Another thing that makes these clouds in the sky look more strange is the phenomenon that naturally occur inside of it. There are 3 specific phenomena that can occur with the sky that affect the plane and the bus area directly. Those are the blackout, the cloud events, and the thunderstorms. Every 7 or so hours inside of the plane's cabin and the bus cabin, the blackout event occurs, and this is when every window shuts and every light inside of those things are turned off completely and cannot be turned back on. This oppressive pitch blackness falls over everything. You can't even see 3 inches in front of your face. You can only actually see it all if you bring your own flashlight because there's nothing else here to use. It's during this time when entities are said to appear in the darkness of the plane seats, and smilers specifically are the most common thing reported, but these creatures are not confirmed because we don't know if it's real or people losing their minds due to the darkness. The cloudy event is an even stranger time in this level when clouds from the outside in the sky seem to leak through the plane's walls and the bus's walls themselves and just exist inside of the cabin with you. There's no reason for this, just happens, but I guess it looks kind of cool. And finally, the most dangerous part of the level is the thunderstorm event, which is exactly what it sounds like. At randomly segmented parts of this flight, the clouds outside will go from that really puffy, calm, fun look to turn dark, and they will eventually start thundering, shaking, and lightning striking. All of this thunderstorm activity can throw the plane off balance with the turbulence during that process, and large lightning strikes are said to even hit the plane. And during this thunderstorm with the winds and stuff, you could be blown around the cabin because of the turbulence and you might hit your head or something. But the most important thing is that a certain gargantuan entity may be seen outside the plane walking through the clouds during these storms. This creature is a very elusive, unknown one that's a gigantic grayish humanoid, and it can only be seen from the waist up. The rest of it sinks below the clouds, and the shape in general seems to be curious about what the plane is doing the second it sees it. And beyond that, it's known to stare at the plane, and if it sees you open a window and stare back at it and just look at it, this will agitate whatever it is, and it'll try to grab the plane and grab you out of it. You obviously don't want to do that, so don't stare at this giant eldritch horror. To enter the level, like I said earlier, you have to fall asleep on level 36 to get here, which is pretty cool, I reckon. And to exit, you can randomly locate a level key in a compartment on the plane. These should be really easy to find because everything else is empty, there's nothing else here. And you'll be sent to whatever level that level key is connected to. Whatever the case is, this plane can do many side effects on the negative side to your mind and to the body of those that come here. You're trapped 30,000 feet up in the clouds with no room to walk around inside of a floating metal death trap with strange effects, lights going out, seats being uncomfortable, and Lovecraftian giants trying to grab you from the clouds. And the thunderstorms shaking the plane, the lightning striking it. It's just not fun. If you're not wise, you could be trapped up here forever and fly until you starve to death. Because when you're on the plane, there's nowhere to run. You can't go anywhere. Unless you're DB Cooper, can just jump out of the plane. That's it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed and made it all the way to the end. If you did, please leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. If you want me to go over something else specifically, leave a comment below and I'll probably get to it eventually. I really appreciate you guys interacting with these videos. It helps the video get out, helps me know that you're still enjoying them and that kind of stuff. Also, thank you so much for your support on the Brugly channel recently. I really appreciate it. I'm excited for this Halloween season. I know you guys are too. It's the best time of year, so hopefully you're looking ready for that. that. Thank you for everything you do, and with all that said, I will catch you in the next video on any of my channels, Broogly, Toogly, Spoogly, or on my Instagram. Go check all those out.